In my over 5 decades of teaching and training in the martial arts, I've been blessed to teach literally thousands of students. In fact, to date, I think I have about 1,800 of those students that have achieved the rank of black belt or above. And I'll tell you what, I've had some amazing physically gifted athletes that I've trained. In fact, some of them became absolutely fantastic black belts. But the ones that have really touched my heart the most, the ones that have made the lasting impression upon me, were the ones where it wasn't so simple. The ones that just kept showing up until they reached their goal. Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. They just kept showing up. You know, quite some time ago, I read a study, a scientific study that was done where scientists took a look at people who had achieved a level of success in their lives, both professionally and personally. And of course, as scientists are wont to do, what they did is they had a hypothesis and they said, well, the people that have achieved the greatest amount of success in their life, it must be because of the socioeconomic background in which they were raised. And then they ran the numbers and no correlation was there. So they said, well, if it wasn't socioeconomics, it must be the fact that they went to the best schools. Those that went to the best universities achieved the greatest amount of success. And guess what? It wasn't that as well. And then they said, well, if it's not education, it must be intelligence. Those with the highest IQs are the ones that had the greatest success. Well, of course, there was no correlation. You know what the one common factor was? It was grit. It was the ability for people to have a goal or a dream or an aspiration that they wanted to achieve, and they just kept showing up until they got it. They just would not be denied. Now, this reminds me of a story of a student, one of my faves that I've had throughout the last 5 decades. Several years ago, his name was Nabil. Nabil had come to me when he was, I think, about 8 or 9 years old. His mother and sister and he had just moved from Southern California, and Nabil had been training in martial arts in California. And when he came to the Denver area, his mother wanted him to get involved in a martial art program. Now, I think by his own admission to this day, he would say he wasn't the most talented martial artist when he came to us. But I have to tell you, that kid just kept showing up. He kept showing up. And pretty soon after a couple, 3 years of training with us, he tested for his first degree black belt. And then he went on and he tested for his second degree black belt and achieved that. And pretty soon he was literally on our staff as one of the instructors, and he became an amazing instructor for us. Parents loved him, kids loved him, just an outstanding young man. Now, the thing that I knew about Nabil, something he had shared with me on several occasions, is he wanted to attend a very prestigious university here in Colorado called the Colorado School of Mines. It's one of the top engineering schools in the Western United States. And I know that this was his dream and his vision for quite some time. And one day I came into the school and he was standing waiting for me at the front desk and asked if we could go into my office and chat. And at that moment he told me that it had happened. He had received the letter from School of Mines saying he was not accepted. You see, I guess he had got a C in chemistry his sophomore year of high school. And to say he was really devastated by it, I think would be calling it short. But we talked about his plan of what he was going to do, and basically what he had shared with me is he was going to go to another university here in Colorado, get his grades up, find out what he needed to do so that he could transfer in to School of Mines his sophomore year. So I said, great plan. Best of luck. Well, a couple of weeks after that, he was waiting for me at the front desk when I entered again, this time with a big smile on his face. And as we went into the office, he proceeded to tell me that as a 17-year-old young man, he had taken it upon himself to call the admissions director and ask for a meeting at the School of Mines. And as he was there and he was talking about his vision for what he wanted to do in school, he just became who he was. He was Nabil. He was confident. He was enthusiastic. He was talking about his dream. And mid-sentence, the admissions director held up his hand and he said, "Stop right there, young man." Now, thinking he'd insulted the administrator, he was a little worried. But the man said this. He said, "Stop right there, young man. I'm going to admit you to the School of Mines right now. Don't you ever get a C in chemistry again." And he was accepted. And last I heard, he had graduated and he's working in the field of his dreams. Now, why do I share that story with you? Well, as a 17-year-old, he had enough confidence and enough grit to say, I'm going to go for my dream. Now, he wasn't going there because he was expecting to be accepted. He was going there because he wanted to continue to move forward, even though he had been denied earlier that year. So, what is that for you? Where do you have a place in your life, in your relationships, in your business, where you can start showing up in a better way? That you can start showing up courageously, even though it might scare the heck out of you, where you can continue to move forward to what you really are dreaming to achieve. Because I have to tell you, sometimes it takes going through the fear. Sometimes it takes getting uncomfortable. Sometimes it takes getting vulnerable. But I will promise you this, is when you do it, and you can do it consistently, there's magic on the other side. So there you have it, my friends. Where do you have an opportunity to keep showing up? And if you've got a story of your own where you've done that and seen some great success from it, I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments below. And as always, I love the fact that you like and share these videos, so please continue to do this. And if you have any ideas for something you'd like me to share, send that to me as well. So this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.